What is up, YouTube? This is Maximus again from Movement Cultivation, and for today I'm going to share with you my settings on my GTX 950 to be able to, for me to be able to play Battlefield 1. Now, disclaimer before I proceed, all GPU cards differ from each other, and when I say differ, it means that even though we have the same type of GPU, the same manufacturing date, manufacturing time, it still differ. So my settings might not work with your GPU, or your settings can even go higher than my settings. So it differs. Okay. So since I'm using Asus GTX 950, I'm using GPU Tweak 2 as my main software for overclocking. Now, I know there are 90% or 80% of the people will say that, hey yo, MSI Afterburner is better than GPU Tweak 2, yada yada yada. But I don't know. After checking the interface of MSI Afterburner, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it's really not that user-friendly for me. I want simplicity, I want minimalistic design, so I resort to GPU Tweak 2. For GPU Tweak 2, you have three predefined overclock settings. That's silent mode, gaming mode, and OC mode. The default is gaming mode. Now, you also have the option to create your own profile. This is where you overclock your GPU above the OC mode that they offer. Now, in my case, I have four profiles. Low profile, I created this profile for my work actually, because basically I don't need that intense graphic when I'm working. So just to cut off some electricity that the GPU is eating, I set this to low profile. This is not actually overclocking. This is actually unclocking the, I don't know if that's even a term, my GPU. Now, second is high profile. I created this profile specifically for FPS games, which includes CSGO and Paladins, for example, because I want that my GPU is pumping 144 FPS constantly so that I can maximize my 144 Hz monitor. Now, the third is Ultra. Actually, this profile, I created this because I thought this is the maximum overclocking settings that my GPU can reach, but I overclocked it recently. I overclocked it recently and I was able to produce Max Ultra, but it still has the benefit because I'm using this specifically for MOBA, like StarCraft or Dota 2. Now, this is what I'll share with you guys today, Maxed Ultra. So let's go ahead and select that. So as you can see, it's taking time. Yeah. So as you can see, it's 120% higher than the normal GTX 950 clock rate. Okay. So if you want to overclock your GPU using GPU Tweak, you just need to go to professional mode, and here you go. Just make sure that you selected Max Ultra here on the profiles. Okay, so under GPU boost clock, I set this to 1435. Actually, I can go higher than this setting. I can go, I think, 1455 or 1455, but the problem is it's not stable to all my games. I have problems with Witcher 3 if I'll use 1455. I have pixel discoloration, which is actually a crashing display when you overclock your GPU and it's not compatible. Now, under max GPU voltage, I did not touch this, and if you try to search on YouTube, other overclock settings, most of them will not touch this because basically you don't want to over pump your GPU, or rather you don't want your GPU to explode, or I mean it's not safe. It's just it's not safe. And if you're not comfortable, just don't do it. If you're comfortable, go ahead, you can do it. So even though we did not touch GPU voltage, we have here power target. Power target is actually the leverage of your GPU to be able to reach a specific clock settings. So if you this power target is very important because when you set this to 100%, or if you did not touch this and you set your GPU boost clock to a rate higher than the normal rate, if you try to monitor your GPU clock in game, you will notice that it will reach, for example, this 1435. It will reach 1435, but after a few seconds, it will go down to its normal GPU clock. The reason for that is because your power target reached its maximum um, leverage or maximum target. So for it's more of a rocket, or yeah, a rock, something like that. So if your power target is just 100%, now once you throw that rock with 1435 speed and you have a power target sitting on 100%, it will bring it down to its normal range, which is 100% of your total CPU clock, or rather, I'm sorry, GPU clock. Now, you would want to maximize this, or if you have an accurate calculations, you can just set it to whatever number you want, as long as it can compensate the GPU boost clock that you've set. You might want to take note of that. Now for my memory clock, I set this to 6800, which is 190 higher than the normal memory clock. I also did not overclock this to 200 or 250, which I know I can, because again, I it's not stable to all my games. So I went to the safer side so that it won't crash and I will have a constant max or constant boost clock that I want. So yeah, and also don't touch the this GPU temp target, because if you touch this, it will also um, adjust the power target of your GPU. Now for the fan speed, it depends on you if you want to do a user defined or if you just want to set this to auto. My suggestion is just set it to auto. I mean, the GPU companies like Asus, MSI, Zotac, or Galax, they do a pretty good job on calculating the just the correct fan speed for your GPU, because basically um, the 900 series is optimized for high temperature, so it's safer for you to have a constant 60 degrees rather than going up 68 or 65 degrees, and then after a second it will go down to 33 degrees or to 40 degrees. um, it will what will happen is your capacitors or your nodes in your GPU will expand and constrict fast, and you don't want that to happen. This is also the reason why um, gaming series GPUs has a stop fan feature, something like that. Means that your fan will not turn on until you reach a specific temperature. Because again, it is safer to have your GPU run a constant 60 or 50 degrees rather than going up or down constantly. Now, one of the downside of GPU Tweak 2 is that it doesn't have an on-screen display feature, meaning it doesn't have a feature which you can monitor your GPU status in-game. Because of that, I have NZXT Cam. Now, NZXT Cam is another software developed by NZXT that actually monitors everything that is happening on your computer. When I say everything, I mean everything. Just look at the interface. So you have basic mode here, dashboard. So it shows you your the current status of your CPU. In this case, I have my Core i5 6500, and also the status of your GPU. Now, when you expand this, or when you go full screen, look at this. Bam! Look at all that data. I mean, you can see your FPS status, I mean your current FPS, your network information, your storage, your CPU, your individual CPU temperature, CPU load, RAM load, graphics, everything that is happening. You also have your top applications. So yeah, everything that is happening on your computer. One of the problem of NZXT Cam is that it on my own observation, it eats quite an amount of CPU processes. So as you can see here on my top application, Cam V3 is using 5%, roughly around 5 to 4% CPU processes. And when you check on the blog site of NZXT, a lot of people are already raising that up to them, and they've informed us that they are currently working on reducing the CPU processes, or the option to disable some features or monitoring capabilities um, of CAM, because basically me myself, I don't, some of the features of CAM is useless. I mean, it's useless for me. I don't need to monitor my current desktop FPS, or rather my RAM load graphics. It's good that it's there, but if they don't have the option to lower the CPU processes, I would just definitely not use it or something like that. Now, one of the reason why I use NZXT Cam is because I use NZXT Grid Plus V3 or V2 as my main fan controller, and it's really doing a great job. Honestly, amongst all the fan controllers, this guy is doing a great job. So there is a newer NZXT Cam software out there, version 0.04 I think, but it has a bug on Grid Plus, so I am still not upgrading to that software. So NZXT Cam on its Grid Plus tab has also predefined modes, silent mode and performance mode. So for my, because I want positive airflow on my CPU, I set my main intake and my bottom main intake as in performance mode, and I set my top exhaust and back exhaust as silent mode. So basically, these two are rotating faster than the exhaust. And I mean, it's really good. Trust me. Um, I've been using this for 2 months now, and I don't have any problems with its functionality. I mean, if I want to set this to based on the CPU temperature, I'm just going to click this and do fixed mode and then run it at 100% or something like that. So going back, this NZXT Cam actually has an on-screen display um, feature, which I use when I play. and you can see that here. Just need to go to settings, FPS overlay. So I can monitor CPU, GPU, VRAM, and the time actually, because when you're in game, you will not have the opportunity to see the actual time. So these are the options or the following information that I display in game. Okay, so let's move on to my desktop monitoring softwares. So as you may see here on the lower right portion of my screen, I have here Netspeedmonitor. That's Netspeedmonitor and compact tray meter. Now for Netspeedmonitor, this is a taskbar option or plug-in, if I should say. I don't know what it is actually. That monitors your upload and download speed, so you don't really need to go to Task Manager and check your current download and upload speed. So you just need to, for example, I'll go to speedtest.net, and let's see there. So as you can see here, I'm downloading 100 Mbps, and when you see it here, it's fucking not working. What happened?
2 hours later.
So, I'm so sorry about that. I did not notice that I have a pending restart because of a Microsoft update. So going back, let's see here. This is my um, ISP. So as you can see here, it's monitoring your download speed real time. So you don't really have to go to Task Manager and check your upload and download speed. And also, in addition, you are aware if your network is really moving. I mean, if, for example, you're downloading something, or if you're working, at least you don't have to go to, or if you're downloading a torrent, for example, you don't really have to go to the torrent um, application itself just to check if it's really downloading. Just by checking here, you can monitor if the download is active. So that's how it works. So basically, I'll just leave the link on the description below on for this application so that you can install it. Now, if you're running Windows 10, you might need to run this on a lower version of Windows, because basically this application is not updated for Windows 10, but I assure you that it works firmly without any problems. So all you need to do is you just need to right click, go to properties, compatibility, and then click on this, run this program in compatibility mode for previous version of Windows. So that's all you need to do, and once you run this once you install it, it will automatically be located here on the lower right portion of your screen. Now moving on, for this monitoring software, this is what you call compact tray meter. So basically what this do is this monitors your RAM and your CPU real time. So you know, for example, you're working or your computer just randomly stops or freezes. So at least you know if that freeze was caused by a very heavy load by one of the application, or it just freezes because of an error on your operating software. So all you need to do is just to right click on this, run as administrator. It will appear here. So all you need to do is you just need to drag it. For example, it will appear here. So all you need to do is you just need to drag it going here so that um, it will lock its position on your taskbar. So the good thing about this is that it's lightweight. What I mean about lightweight is that it doesn't give a stress on your process on your CPU, because upon experience on other monitoring software, it monitors your CPU, and at the same time it also stresses out your CPU because it's monitoring it. So it's loading data from it, and I don't know, because it's not yet stable or something. It's also giving stress. So if you check on your task manager, you can see here that it's taking up some processes from your CPU. So it's a bad thing. Good thing about this is so lightweight. I mean, you can't even find it here. Let's see. See, it's 0%. It's just taking up 1.4 MB on your memory. And also, you can monitor your RAM. So for example, you're running at 4 gigabyte of RAM. In this case, I'm running 16 gig. So if you're running 4 gigs, you're very conscious in terms of your RAM management. I mean, if you're using Chrome, we all know that Chrome is taking up one of the one of the problems or downside of Chrome is that it takes up so much memory. So if you open up browsers, for example, yeah, let's open up browsers. So once you open it up, it will take up memory. So as you can see here, it again, real time, it is monitoring your RAM. So if you're very conscious in terms of RAM management, this compact tray meter will really help you out on if you need to close up some application, or if you need to free up some space so that if you play a game, it will your game will be played without any errors or without any problems or something like that. So as you can see, if I close this um, window here, it will go down, and it also go down if I close my Chrome. See, so that's how effective this compact tray meter is. Now let's move on to my monitoring software for my GPU and my CPU. Now, I have NZXT Cam in for monitoring my GPU and my CPU um, in game. Now, what I use in monitoring my CPU and my GPU through taskbar is this application. This is actually what you call SpeedFan. Now, yes, this software is basically built to monitor and to control your system fans, but since I upgraded to NZXT Grid V2, I couldn't really uninstall this application because this application really has a lot of features in it. And one of the feature is to be able to monitor the GPU through your taskbar. Now, as you can see here, my GPU is running at, or my GPU temperature is 43 degrees Celsius. So if you check GPU tweak 2, it's the same. So primarily, it is, see, as you may see, sometimes it doesn't it is not the same. It is because of the refresh rate of this application SpeedFan and the refresh rate of GPU tweak, because GPU tweaks refresh rate in checking the temperature of your GPU is basically 3 seconds, and for SpeedFan I think it's 5 seconds, or yeah, 5 seconds. But it really does the job. And also, when you hover your mouse to to the application, it will show you the temperature of your CPU as well. So how did I do that? So first you need to go to configure, then under the temperatures tab, you need to put GPU on top of everything. So this is basically the chronological order on how you will see the temperatures here. So first is GPU, that's my primary temperature. So that's the temperature that you will see if you will lock it on your taskbar. Then next, when you hover it, you'll be able to see your cores, and also the next. Well, basically I don't need this, but there's no option to not to include it in in here. I mean, you can uncheck this, but I just don't want to uncheck it. But it's up to you. But overall, this application is really helpful. So to show this icon right here, all you need to do is you just need to go here, click on configure, and then just need to select GPU and then hit this one. So tick the radio button that says show in tray, then hit on OK, and then once you minimize it, it's going to show it here. So yeah, I think that's all you need to do to monitor everything on your taskbar. So if ever you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me on the comment sections below. And yeah, please like and subscribe if you learned something, and please stay tuned for more videos like this in the future.